Hello, brave, beautiful warrior soul friends. Christian Collective here with a few ideas for you with creating a daily routine. Things to instill a feeling of safety or security. One, a butterfly hug meditation. There's a couple different ways you can do this. Um, I've created a couple meditations that I can send your way with butterfly hugs. And then either in combination with that or instead of whichever, however works best, you can use the Self Love Butterfly Hugs Coping Music playlist on our Spotify profile. Just pick any song on there or browse through and find one you enjoy more than the others. And you just listen to it and go back and forth doing butterfly hugs. And the bilateral stimulation, going back and forth, can help bring a sense of grounding and reduce anxiety. And it can also just be a really nice self love gesture to parts. So, self love, butterfly hug meditation is a great daily thing to help establish a sense of safety and security. The second one is grounding body movement, and I think you had mentioned learning something for that, so that's excellent. There's also dance. There's a couple dance coping music playlists. There's the Dance It Out, which is where you just go loose, go all over, just go ham. And then there's the stretch dance meditation, and that's where you do very slow, kind of more intuitive body movement, and it's still dancing, but kind of a slower pace with a focus on being aware of your body rather than just letting out energy. So that's what we use. It really helps. You could also do various kinds of yoga. I know there's like yoga for kids, and so when we have like a really hard time getting engaged as an adult, we'll just find a yoga for kids video on YouTube, and that kind of helps break the ice, break us in, help the child parts feel included, kind of reignite our drive to do yoga, and kind of just help include all the parts, and then from there we can kind of go into more like adults yoga where it's actually strengthening the body and stuff. But at first we just kind of did like child yoga to help everybody be engaged. So meet yourself where you're at, and roll with whatever you're feeling, but make sure to include some kind of grounding body movement. Even if it's just like 5 minutes a day, it doesn't have to be a whole lot, just something to make sure that you're actually inside the body. And we can't get there just by thinking about it. We gotta move. Another really fun one for that, if you're able to, is to dance with your shadow. And so arrange light so you create a shadow like on the wall. You can do it inside, even in your home and stuff. We would usually do it like on the side of the house or something outside, but you can control the lights and do it inside and everything, and just create a shadow and dance with it, and just be present with your shadow and watch your shadow as you move and dance. And that can be really powerful because the shadow almost represents parts. Sometimes it can just be a way of connecting the consciousness to being present with parts a little more. Tai Chi is something I hope to eventually learn, and Qui-Gon was also something I looked into. Um, so some kind of grounding body movement. And then low pitched humming coping trick was the last one I had for safety and security. So just doing that very frequent humming. And what's happening is when you're doing humming in low tones, or kind of like if you're able to even do chanting, that's more powerful. Just like a the deeper you go, the more it's bringing out the fight parts and or parts of consciousness that are good at establishing a feeling of safety and security. And so kind of tapping into that energy within our own beings can actually be very powerful. So doing very frequent humming throughout the day, or if you can even do chanting, that's even more powerful. So those are a few things to establish a feeling of safety and security. The next feeling is inspiration and motivation. A few different things we can do for this. um, One is to have is to use documentaries applied with sporadic stimulation. So I'll send you a link created discussing sporadic stimulation as a coping trick and applying documentaries with that. So finding documentaries that can help inspire and then having it be only one of the things you're working on, like have the documentary up and then you're also journaling or you're also, doing whatever it is that you're doing. And so it's kind of just this background motivation. Some great ones for that. Tony Robbins, I'm Not Your Guru is a really good one. Happy is another good one. Those are both on Netflix. And then there's a bunch more like on YouTube, a bunch of YouTube channels. So you could get like a documentary and have in the background, or like a YouTube channel have in the background. A really great YouTube channel that has some really good like inspiration is Jason Silva. He's one of my biggest inspirations, and I throw him on when I'm having just a tough day, just not wanting to engage. Um, and then so documentaries and or YouTube channels applied with sporadic stimulation. And I'll send you the video of sporadic stimulation. And then the other suggestion is empowering affirmations, especially like listen while cleaning or exercising, something where you're moving and engaging yourself, but not specifically like your focused brain. Like you're, exercising or cleaning where you're moving your body, but your brain is not like intensely focused. And having it in the background kind of just help it kind of leak into the brain a little bit better. And Power Thoughts Meditation Club on YouTube has excellent ones. I really love theirs because they have some with guy voices, some with girl voices, and they're both very gentle and soothing. And then they also have some that are really slow paced that you can use very like relaxed during like a meditation or while you're sleeping. And then they also have ones that are like to amp you up, and they have like really empowering like beating in the background. It's like binaural beats, but it's also like this drumming music that just helps really, it's really great to clean to, for example. Like it's just really good to work with, and then it's doing affirmation, so it's helping the subconscious in the process. And so listening to some affirmations on a daily basis, this is the key with any and all of these things. Any of these things might take 5 minutes to an hour, depending on like what it is, and if you're doing the one thing focused or you're using sporadic stimulation. But the goal is to just pick a few of these things and do them every day. That's where the difference will be. And so if you're listening to 20 minutes of affirmations every day, it might not magically change things in one day, but I guarantee it's going to change things over time. It's the consistency aspect. So as you're going through this and, thinking about ways to create a daily routine, or you're going through your day and just trying them and kind of taking some mental notes as you go, just keep in mind this is something that you're going to need to show up for regularly. So create it in a way that you'll want to be there. And this is where kind of the aspect of making daily rituals rather than just routine comes in, because routine is something where you physically show up for and you're like, okay, I'm going about my routine, I'm checking something off my list. But ritual is when we're showing up with intentions and we're showing up with this a mental and or like emotional investment, and it takes a little bit more from us than just a routine, but we also get a lot more out of it because it's more than just a routine. And so having some kind of ritual with each thing. So, maybe it's time for butterfly hug meditation. So I'm going to sit down in my, special, really cozy seat here and, smell some stuff and take some deep breaths. And I'm going to look forward to this. This is something that will become a part of my day that I mentally show up for as well as physically show up for. And because I'm showing up in a way that I'm like, hey, look at me, I'm reclaiming my power. Hey, look at me, I'm learning to love myself. Hey, look at me, I'm creating daily routines to reclaim my power, change my life. Hey, look at me, I'm, something to be like, this is a good thing. I'm glad I'm here for this. Because anytime you show up for one of these and you tell your parts, hey, I'm really glad I'm here for this, you're communicating to your parts, hey, I'm glad I'm here with you. Hey, I'm glad I'm here helping heal you. Hey, I'm glad I'm here investing in you. And so the way that we respond to our own beings, it impacts our parts. And so when we show up for these, it's not, okay, here we go with this stupid routine. All right, I'm just going to do this thing. All right. If we show up in that way, our parts are going to know it. They're going to feel it. They're going to hear our emotions as if it's direct verbal contact, and they're going to feel that we don't want to be here. And they're not going to feel good about that. So anything that we can do to turn it into a ritual where we say, okay, here we are for this daily thing. I'm glad I'm here. And so in this process, if anything's stopping you from establishing that kind of feeling of it being a ritual rather than a routine, just let me know. That's what I'm here to help with the coaching piece of things. So if you're getting stuck and you just can't enjoy it, or you just can't kind of be present for it, that's kind of the hardest part with the dissociation, is just being present for it, because our brains are going to be like, oh, this is where we dissociate, but we're trying to teach our brains, hey, we don't need to do that all the time. And so there can be some challenges with it, but we can totally work through those piece by piece. So just let me know how it goes applying some of these things, what comes up, and we'll work through whatever needs to be worked through together. Just let me know how it goes. But the goal, all that to say, the goal is to establish a ritual where it's a part of your daily routine that you're showing up for, and it's something that can be a good part of your day. It's not something you're dreading. It's not something that you feel obligated to and you really just don't want to do it. Because that's where things don't work anymore, right? We have a hard time showing up, or we're not fully showing up, and then it just doesn't go well. So that's the goal. So do these things, try these things with that goal in mind, and then just let me know how it goes. I want to make sure I can communicated that clearly. Words are hard. Another really excellent one for inspiration, motivation, is to take some time and journal about what you want your life to look like. And not just the physical aspects, because it's really easy to get stuck on that stuff, but more about the internal aspect. Rather than it be, I want to live here and I want this job and I want this and I want, these physical attributes to be in my life. Have it be this internal vision of, I want to wake up and love myself unconditionally. I want to wake up and know that I can be patient with myself and still succeed. Those kinds of things. And so we started with that, writing the few emotions that we need during the day. But the goal is to create a vision that propels you forward. Because when we push ourselves, we burn out. But when we can get excited for this goal that we're striving for, especially an internal goal where we actually have more power, because the external goals we don't always have full power of, but we do have a say in what happens here in the long run. And so to have a vision that propels you forward and pulls you, it excites you. And so for me, it was to be able to stand in my own energy without having other people's energies affect me. And that was a vision that propelled me forward this year. And so just take some time and meditate, go on a walk, just be present. Just kind of imagine what your life would look like internally that would make you really, really happy, or really, really excited, or just really, really stoked to be alive, or really, really fearlessly able to embrace each day. And write this kind of emotional, mental vision statement of what your internal world will look like, and have that be something that excites you and something you refer back to, and you're like, that's why I'm working so hard. That's where I'm working towards. That's where I'm going to be one day, and that's why I'm doing all this stuff. So inspiration and motivation, something to propel you. The next one is unconditional self-love. Oh, such a good one. We did a lot of work with this one this year. It feels really good to learn how to reclaim your power by loving yourself, by offering your own being the love that we all just so desperately crave. It is so powerful. So, so powerful. So the first best one is affirmations. And those can be done through a lot of different ways. So I'll send you a couple of videos I made about affirmations. I can't remember if I'd sent you them or not. So I'll send them with this video. Let me make a note. There's a lot of different ways you can go about doing affirmations. You can say them aloud. You can pick one to say over and over again. You can listen to a soundtrack in the background. You can write them over and over again. You can listen to a soundtrack of them while you sleep and have it leak into your subconscious that way. There's a lot of different ways we can go about this. So let me know if you get stuck at any point. The goal is to implement it into a daily practice, something that you'll be able to show up for consistently. And so maybe we try one thing and it's like, that was a little bit hard to just kind of show up for. So maybe we'll try a different one, and okay, that felt a little bit better. Let's try this for a few days, kind of a thing. It's very much a trial and error process. You really get to have fun with it, get to explore, different options. And then as you try each one, just notice how you feel and make sure that you enjoy the daily practice you're creating. It's a beautiful thing when we can, because I was always trying to force myself into this daily routine. But once I said, hey, what do I actually want to be doing right now? And I kind of melded my routine to fit what I actually needed, I had a much easier time showing up for it. I actually started to enjoy showing up for it because it was personalized, and I could tell it was because I'd taken the time to get to know myself and what I needed in the day to help me be present and be focused or feel loved or feel safe or, whatever it was, all the little different things that we noticed that we needed and didn't have, and then worked to try to incorporate. Yeah, I don't even know. We switched. Affirmations. Lots of different ways. Oh yeah, have fun with it. That's all. Have fun with it. It should feel exciting. You should feel excited. You can just be present and try a new thing, a new way of listening to affirmations. And if you ever get frustrated, if you're ever just like, I just don't want to do this, just take a moment. Take a big breath. Be like, think about it. Just think about what you're doing right now. You're feeding your mind these beautiful messages to rewire your subconscious neural pathways and transform the way that your brain automatically shows up for you moving forward, so that you get to move forward into a life that you get to create and not just kind of fall into. That's exciting. Let that excite you. And then let that excitement motivate you day by day, because it can be hard to show up consistently for ourselves. It really can be. It's half the battle. But we need to show our parts that they are worthy of healing. We need to show our parts that they are worthy of having someone there on a regular basis who knows them and loves them. It's exciting. So get excited. And if you ever can't get excited, just shoot me a message and we can get excited together. Because it can be hard to get excited sometimes. It really can be. You're just like, but there's so much to do and I just don't want to, and I get it. We have those days still, and that's where we gotta fight together, okay? So always here for you. Shoot me a message if you're ever just having a hard time engaging with any of the stuff we're working on. Okay, so affirmations. Another way to do affirmations is through music. They mantra meditations. We do like chanting, where we'll say like the same affirmation over and over again, and just kind of do a little dance or whatever. We'll have like little shakers or a little drum. There's also a few songs in my coping music playlist. I think it's on like morning stability and a couple in like the meditation playlist. But there's some songs that have affirmations in them. There's a couple different songs that are called I Am. And so music is another great way. So if you find any music that you just really resonate with the empowering messages, you can listen to that every single day. And that can be your affirmations. It doesn't have to be this black and white fit in a mold thing. It can be whatever you want it to be. As long as you have some kind of positive message you're repeatedly feeding your mind on a daily basis. That's where the power of affirmations comes in. And the second idea for that is self-love guided meditations. So I have a couple that I can send your way, and then there's even a bunch more, honestly, better ones. I'm still new at guided meditations, but a lot of really excellent ones on YouTube. And so you can just type in, self-love meditation, guided meditation, or whatever aspect you want to focus on. Like, you can even look up Nurturing Your Inner Child guided meditation. There's like excellent ones on there. But doing a guided meditation every single day that would emphasize self-love and really explore those feelings and subconscious aspects of self-love is really, really powerful. So excellent idea for that. Self-love guided meditation is really great. And again, it doesn't have to be like this huge thing. It could be like 5 minutes a day. Like 20 minutes a day is like most powerful for like the guided ones, because sometimes they can take a few minutes just to even get present. Like, I feel like the first half of meditations is kind of just spent trying to be present, and then once we're finally present, it's like, okay, now we're here. Oh crap, it's almost done. So the longer you can do it, the better, of course. But even if you did just 5 minutes a day, it's gonna make a difference. So that's exciting. So self-love guided meditations. The next one is daily soulful compliments. So I'll send you a little thing, make a note. I'll send you a little thing that explains what soulful compliment is. It's basically a compliment that has to do with your internal attributes rather than something external. And so saying, I love my courage, or I love my I'm sorry. I'm really dissociated right now. It's hard to come up with examples on the spot. But I'll send you a little link on that. Basically, journaling soulful compliments every day. And so even if you write like 5 soulful compliments and you just rewrite those things every day, that would totally be effective for this. The brain, the subconscious especially, which is where all the parts live, loves repetition. It's how it learns, it's how it comprehends things. And so when we tell it something over and over and over again, the parts, aka the subconscious, is going to start to believe it eventually. And so it doesn't have to be like hundreds and hundreds of soulful compliments. You could just do 5 and write them over and over and over again, and that's going to have a lot of power. Okay, so daily soulful compliments. And you can do that in a variety of ways. You could journal about it. You could post it on your Instagram story and create a saved story so you can go back to it every day and rewatch the soulful compliments you've shared for yourself so far. The saved Instagram stories has been a huge tool for us with the amnesia aspect. We have all sorts of different things and we can refer back to it at any time. Another idea is to have a glass jar with slips of paper. So just get like a real, just a cheap glass jar, colored slips of paper, or, colored pieces of paper, cut them up into slips, and then just write a soulful compliment on the jar. And then every day you can come back in and read them aloud to yourself and then continually add them in. So different ways to go about daily soulful compliments, but so it's a daily practice of complimenting aspects that the subconscious will resonate with, And then the last one, and you already totally jumped ahead on this. I'm so proud of you for it. I was so excited to see your work with this. But journal prompts, writing letters to yourself. So writing letters either to, from your higher self to your present self, or your future self to your past self, or your present self to your past self, or your going on with normal life self to the trauma parts, or you to the body, or there's a lot of different ways that you can go about it, but basically writing letters to yourself and having that very intimate process of writing it, and then having meditations where you come back and reread it. It's like the most emotional thing ever. And feeling those emotions is all working with parts, because emotions are all communication from parts. And so when you're going through this kind of really emotional process of showing up for yourself in this really incredible manner, it's really making an impact. It really makes an impact, especially when we go back and reread them, because with the dissociation and the dissociative kind of brain thing, we can we can disconnect if the emotions are too strong. But if we have this emotional experience and we come back to it in a loving way and reassess it, it can, we can grow our own window of tolerance, basically. We can learn to show up for ourselves and say, hey, yeah, that was emotional. Wasn't that beautiful? And learn to be present with the experience rather than dissociate from it and say that was emotions are scary. I don't want to go back there. And so having this intimate process where we write letters to ourselves, parts of ourselves, different aspects, different pieces that need to be heard, whatever it might be. There's a lot of different routes you could go with that as well. And then taking time to come back and reread it and just be present with those emotions and the experience of writing that letter before and reading it now. Very powerful. So next one was patience with self. And so that there's lots of different mindfulness exercises you can do. And in this process of doing the mindfulness exercises, the goal is to replace every piece of judgment with curiosity and compassion. And so it's this process of, you have like this pile of judgment, right? It's all subconscious, just kind of been there. It's just kind of habitual at this point. Like we all have this. um, and you hit this wall. Yeah. You hit this wall of internal judgment, and you replace it piece by piece with compassion. And so you slowly decrease the presence of it with time. That's been a huge process for us this year. So if you ever get stuck on that, please message us. I know it can be really really tricky, and it's all such internal work. It can even be hard to find words for sometimes. But showing up for daily mindfulness practice with an emphasis on replacing judgment and frustration with compassion and curiosity, it can help rewire the brain to be more patient with itself. And so showing up and having patience, it won't be this excruciating thing forever. If we work on very mindfully, once a day at least, having a mindfulness practice where we're actively replacing judgment with curiosity and compassion, then over time, our brain will automatically be more patient with itself. So really great, powerful daily stuff, daily mindfulness exercise. And there's lots of different ways you could go about that. So I'll try to send a couple of videos about some mindfulness ideas. All right, so now that I've rambled on enough, so those are some ideas. Moving forward, we got a few more days left to work together. It's flying by. Oh my goodness. Basically, go through and try all these different ideas one at a time, not have space between each one or whatever it takes for you to be present and engaged for each one. But try a few different things on this list of ideas that I've provided here today. And as you go, write down notes as you go, as you're showing up for these things. How does it feel? And you'll probably notice some things like, oh, this causes some anxiety, or oh, this causes a little bit more switching than I anticipated, or oh, this wasn't as grounding as I hoped it would be. And then hopefully there will also be some moments of, wow, this was like really nice. This felt good. Like this is something I would enjoy showing up for daily if I could like figure out a way to do that. Or oh, like there was this moment of peace. Like it was really brief, but there was this moment, and I want more moments like that. So just go through and do thing by thing, but have your goal be less about accomplishing the thing and more about noticing how you feel while accomplishing the thing. And take notes about that. And we'll use those emotions as like guiding points, as our direction for moving forward and creating the daily ritual that will be most effective for you. So go through and try as many of these different things as you can, but with an emphasis on taking notes about how you feel in the process of doing each thing rather than just accomplishing the list kind of a thing, okay? And then send me those notes if you would like, and then I can provide some feedback from there about creating things. Or maybe through this process, you'll even notice, okay, these things would be good and for a daily routine, and these things just wouldn't quite work on a regular basis. And we can move forward from there. And the goal is to have a solid morning routine. So when you wake up, there's something you're immediately doing. And it's like a few different things in a specific order that helps you get to a good place of being functional and engaged in the day, or wanting to engage in the day. And then to have a very specific bedtime routine, something that's going to help help the process of going to sleep and help the sleep be most effective, and just help the evening be a time of relaxing and nothing stressful or triggering. And in that process, it'll also help the next morning be a little bit more smooth, hopefully. So, solid morning routine, that's most important. A decent evening routine, and then the last one is just a middle ground afternoon ritual of some kind. It could be something brief, just checking in with yourself, or it could be like a whole 3 hour, thing of rituals, whatever's most effective for you. But that's kind of the goal, is to have those three things in the day: morning, afternoon, evening. And then from there, once we've established that, we can have kind of some physical goals and kind of, like read chapter whatever in Janina Fisher's book kind of thing, more concrete physical goals once we have a routine established. So right now, try these things, take notes about how it goes, and kind of just play with the concept of what would I like my daily routines to look like? And let me know from there how it goes, what you think, what comes up. We'll just keep working, keep growing and healing together. Have a beautiful and blessed day, my beautiful brave warrior soul friends, in light and love. Namaste.